Cantara Scheduler increases the efficiency of JD Edwards job scheduling. The scheduler uses a higher resolution timescale, which allows jobs to be packed together more closely. It also supports dependencies between jobs and job duration monitoring. The result is a schedule that is better optimised, delivering more value from the available ERP resources. Cantara's Gantt view makes it easy to plan and understand how those resources are being utilised. To manage the submission of jobs to JD Edwards, Cantara organises jobs into groups. A group could represent jobs from a particular area of the business. Within the group, a number of requests can be gathered for submission. A group can optionally require that each request completes successfully in order for the group to continue executing. Multiple groups can be configured to run in parallel, or alternatively, groups can run in sequence so that successful completion of one group will trigger the execution of another group. Expected job execution times can also be configured, and actual times are monitored to identify if a job is finished too quickly or is taking too long. To schedule a report, select Requests from the Scheduler menu. Click Add to add a new request. Enter a name for the request and select the report service to be scheduled. You can also attach tags or a service description. Use the Download button to retrieve the report's processing options, interconnects, and data selection filters. The request allows you to specify new values for any of these settings. The settings will be applied when the report is submitted to JD Edwards, without changing the settings saved in the JDE version. This means you can use a single JDE report version to run any number of variations that are pre-configured in Cantara. For extra flexibility, settings can be specified using variables instead of fixed values. The value of a variable can be changed in one place, controlling all of the requests that are referencing that variable. A variable can be helpful for specifying the financial period or financial year, as many reports need to be run off the same period. Updating a variable in one place saves you a lot of time and reduces errors. Once the settings are finalised, the new request should be saved. In order to schedule this request, it must be added to a scheduler group. An existing group can be chosen, or a new group can be created. Select Groups from the Scheduler menu and click Add to add a new group. Each group specifies a stream, perhaps representing a particular department, as well as the environment that the group applies to. The sequencing method determines whether each request within the group must wait for the previous request to complete, and whether each request must succeed in order for the group to continue. Allow multiple instances allows a group to submit its requests even if the previous scheduling of the group has not yet completed. The Trigger on Misfire option applies to on-premises deployments only. Enabling Trigger on Misfire tells Cantara that if the scheduler is stopped for any reason, causing groups to miss their scheduled execution times, then upon resumption, a single submission of each missed group will be made. Note that if a group has been missed multiple times, it will only be resubmitted once. Notifications are always issued if a failure occurs, but enabling Notify on Success will additionally provide notifications when a group completes successfully. An estimate for the expected group execution time can be entered, and if the actual time falls out of this range, the group will be considered to have failed. If a group completes too quickly, it typically indicates that there was an invalid data selection and no records were processed. Select Warning Only if this condition should not be treated as an error. Cantara supports a number of different options available for specifying when a group should be scheduled. Some trigger definitions are straightforward, such as daily at 10 AM, while others specify a more complex pattern, for example, every 30 minutes during business hours, or the day before period end. Choose the trigger type that best supports the schedule required and select any exclusion periods that should apply to the group. Exclusion periods are times where we don't want the group to be run. A common use of this feature is preventing groups from being run in the 3 days surrounding month end, for example. Once the trigger details are entered, requests and dependencies can be added to the group. To add a request to the group, click the Add button beside the request. The request then appears under the Allocated Requests column. Allocated requests can be dragged to reorder their submission. If execution of the group requires other groups to be run beforehand, add those other groups as dependencies by clicking the Add button beside each required group. Group dependencies can be run together or in sequence, optionally considering their completion status. Once the settings are finalised, save the new group to launch the configured schedule. The Scheduler's Gantt view shows when each report has been scheduled to run, as well as any other group dependencies involved. The view can be filtered by stream and zoomed in or out to focus on a particular timeframe. For further information about configuring and using Cantara Integration Platform, visit our Knowledge Garden at renami.com.